Okay, we're going to work on perimeter and area in this problem. If you remember, perimeter is where you add up the lengths of all the sides of a shape, and the area is if you were to fill in the inside of the shape, what would the area be? So we've got Dylan. Dylan draws up a plan to fence a yard for his chickens. The distance between grid lines is 1 foot. Is 30 feet of fencing enough to enclose the yard? Well, we would like to know how long each side of this triangle is to know if 30 feet will cover going around each side. So we are going to find, similar to our last example, the distance of every side of our triangle. We'll add those together and see if that is greater than 30 feet or less than 30 feet. So first let's find the length of side AB. We're going to set that up in the distance formula. All right, so if you want to pause, I just went ahead and filled in the distance formula. I plugged in the ordered pairs from the endpoints, simplified, and got AB to have a length of 10. Now we want to find the distance of the next side of our triangle, so we'll find BC. Here we have all the work in the distance formula. I plugged in the coordinates from our endpoints. It simplified to the square root of 100, which is equal to 10. So BC also has a side length of 10. Now we want to find side AC. All right, so when we fill in the distance formula, we get the square root of 80 for that third side. So is there enough fencing to enclose the yard? What we want to do is add those three sides together. So 10 plus 10 plus the square root of 80. And when we do that, we don't get an exact answer because of the square root of 80, but we can do a little rounded answer. It's about equal to 28.9. And they said each unit was worth a foot on our graph, so that's going to be 28.9 feet. And Dylan has 30 feet, so he is good to go. He has enough to put a fence around his little yard for his chickens. All right, part B, for a healthy flock, each chicken needs at least 8 square feet of space. What is the maximum number of chickens Dylan can put in the yard? All right, so this triangle has two congruent sides, 10 and 10. So this makes it an isosceles triangle, so it's good for us to just know what we're working with. For an isosceles, to find the area of a triangle, the formula is 1/2 base times height. So the base is the side AC, which has the square root of 80. The height, because of our isosceles triangle, the height is going to come down and it's going to hit the midpoint of the base. So if we can find the midpoint of AC, that's going to help us find the height. So the midpoint of AC, midpoint formula is you add your x's. So from point A, the x is 2. From point C, the x is 10. Divide it by 2. From point A, the y is 6. From point C, the y is 2. Divide by 2. So we're getting 12 over 2, 8 over 2. And our midpoint is 6, 4. So we just figured out that that ordered pair is 6, 4. Now, can we find, because we already know the base of our triangle, that's that square root of 80, but the height is this black segment that I drew in right there. The height would be how far is it from our midpoint to point B. So we're going to find the midpoint, or we're going to find the distance between point B and our midpoint down here, 6, -4. So our distance is going to equal the square root of, we're going to subtract the x's, 10 minus 6, square it. Add to that, subtracting the y's, 12 minus a -4 turns to +4, and square it. 10 minus 6 is 4. 12 plus 4 is 16. Oh, I just caught a mistake. I don't know if you guys caught it or not. For some reason, right here, I said the midpoint was 6, 4. And then when I wrote it up here, I wrote it as 6, negative 4. And then I was using a negative 4 in the distance formula right here. So let me just fix that. That should be a positive 4. And then when we are doing the distance formula, that's not going to be a 12 plus 4. That is going to be a 12 minus 4. And so 12 minus 4 is 8. All right, so we have the square root of 4 squared is 16 plus 8 squared is 64. We have the square root of 80. So the height of our triangle is the square root of 80. So now we can find the area. Area equals 1/2 times the base, which we said was the square root of 80. And then by coincidence, our height that we just found was also the square root of 80. Did you guys know that if you take a square root and multiply it by itself, it actually equals the number underneath the square root? Square root of 80 times square root of 80 is 80 without the square root. And then we can multiply that by half and we get 40 square feet. Now to answer the question, each chicken needs at least 8 square feet of space. So if we take that 40 square feet and divide it by 8 square feet, we're going to get 5. What's the maximum number of chickens Dylan can put in the yard? 5 chickens will answer that question.